Inspired by the rags to riches story of national hero Manny Pacquiao, many young Filipinos see boxing as a ticket out of poverty. But the brutal reality is few will succeed. Not that it stops young hopefuls from trying, even if it destroys them. I'm Steve Chow. On this episode of 101 East, we're in the Philippines to meet the young boxers trying to fight their way to the top.
Si Brian Diano.
I am Brian Diano, 24 years old.
Nag-umpisa ako sa boxing
I started boxing when I was 14.
14 years old ako nag-umpisa ng boxing.
I was so nervous when I first stepped into the ring. I lost that fight.
Nung bata pa ako,
As a kid, I collected used bottles, plastics, and metal scraps.
hindi makakain.
There wasn't a day when I was able to have a full meal.
Dahil sa kahirapan ng sa kanyang buhay,
I was inspired by Manny Pacquiao to box because our stories are the same. He was poor. I'm also poor. I want to follow in his footsteps and help my family. He was able to lift his family and even the whole nation.
kanyang pamilya at sa buong bayan.
In the southern Philippines city of Cagayan de Oro, Brian Diano is gearing up for the biggest fight of his career to challenge the Asian Boxing Federation's super flyweight belt. Win or lose, Brian's purse is $550 US, not much compared to the millions floating around boxing's top flight. But winning is a ticket to bigger money bouts overseas and a rung up the poverty ladder.
Bago ako akyat ng ring,
Before I enter the ring, I pray that this is not my last fight and that I'll win.
Introducing Brian Diano. Versus his opponent, adversary fighting out.
A week before the fight, we go to a rundown boxing gym in Lipa City, 1.5 hours drive south of Manila. This is where Brian and his teammates live and train.
Ikot ang ulo, Jo. Ikot ang ulo. Para di matamaan. Side ba? Side.
Last 2 minutes.
Minute. Hop. Break. Agad. Sa gitna. Gitna.
Brian's sparring partner pulls no punches. The band of boxers and trainers here are bonded by a shared ambition to fight their way out of poverty. Their problems mounted when a typhoon hit last July. It blew their roof off, destroyed the ring and much of the equipment. With no money to rebuild, they make do with what remains as best they can.
Time in. Third round.
The weather still causes problems. The wet season brings rain and frustration. Team manager Jun Gandeza has to cut short today's training.
So much frustrating because the training program wasn't followed. Brian should have a 4 rounds sparring, but because of this rain, so it is stopped after the 3rd round.
Jun Gandeza is the father figure for these young men. The former businessman and politician took over the gym in 2011 to match and promote fights for the struggling boxers. He poured his savings into their training, competition, and medical expenses. Now he's broke. But Jun refuses to throw in the towel.
I'm not gonna leave them, no matter what happened. I told them that if any one of you could become a world champion, even the next day could be dead, it's okay for me. Because producing champion, just one champion could help everybody.
Dua lang. Upper hook lang.
Everybody here relies on each other, sharing whatever prize money is left after sending some home.
Feeding their family, helping their family. That's the only things that give me more courage to continue. Because I have nothing at all. I lost everything. My career in political career. My time with my wife, with my 3 kids.
All of them have made sacrifices.
tulad ng hindi.
I left my family to be here. I don't get to see them or talk to them much.
They have each other as their family now. Without enough to eat, the boxers sleep in between training sessions to conserve energy and stave off hunger.
Lahat kami nangarap.
All of us have dreams. Even though we don't have electricity and good living conditions here, we have a manager who really supports us. Nothing else matters as long as we can achieve our dreams.
Before any title dreams came about, they first went into boxing to fill their stomachs. So which one among you started off by fighting for food? Everyone.
When I started boxing, my prize was 2 kilos of rice and 2 cans of sardines. I was so happy.
Dahil sa mahirap, mga magulang
My
ko,
parents were very poor. They had no income. I first got into the ring to fight for a can of milk, Milo, and some clothes.
Hirap lang sa amin po.
It was a very hard life.
Isang araw,
We ate once a day.
Naggawa ko ng pansimbag, yung sako, nilagyan ko
I made a punching bag out of a sack and wood chips, and used my shirt as gloves until it tore. My mom said, "Keep going, son, so you can help us in the future."
Papa used to go fishing, but sometimes the sea was very rough. Every time there was a boxing match, he urged me to fight for money to buy rice. I would say, let's do it, even if I was scared and crying.
Now they're hungry for success in the ring. They can only afford to eat twice a day. At meal times, the sit-up bench becomes a dining table with banana leaves laid on top. Rice, instant noodles, and salted fish. Not quite the diet of champions, but it fills them up.
lagay mo sila doon. Hindi pa sapat na ito kinakain.
We need
Mayroon
other
pa yung
types of food
dagdag
also.
na pagkain
These are not enough.
na gusto
But it's
namin
hard
na
when we just don't have the budget.
pagkain na.
With the odds stacked against them, boxing promoters usually rate them as underdogs. But Jun Gandeza has faith in his fighters.
Every time we had a fight, our boxers are always just a tune-up fighter. But we prove it to them.
Jun has produced 2 national champions. He hopes Brian will eventually make it 3.
He is close to my heart because this is the only boxer that I bought. Brian, I never bought any boxer. I just wanted to save him from further punishment or whatsoever.
Brian's boxing journey reveals the dark side of the sport. Managers make money off fights, whether their boxers win or lose. All too often, they push them into the ring untrained and mismatched. Brian's previous manager would take 50% of his earnings and also make him pay for competing and training, leaving him with hardly any money.
Bali,
Whenever promoters asked for a boxer of a higher weight category, he would insist he had one ready to fight, even if he didn't. He just sent me. That way, promoters would think he always had boxers ready and go to him whenever they needed one.
na alam naman.
Even when he knew I couldn't win, even when my opponents were much bigger, he would insist that I fight. It was all about money.
2 dismal years left Brian with 10 losses and a draw, a career on the ropes, and his dignity in shreds.
Opo, naisip na, opo.
There were times when I was mad at him, but I had no choice. I was afraid that if I didn't fight, they wouldn't feed me, or they might kick me out.
Jun saw how fiercely Brian battled. He found out his situation, bought out his contract, and set about rebuilding his confidence. Brian has since won 3 minor fights to earn a crack at the Asian title.
Napaka-importanting laban to para sa akin, sir, dahil ito po yung chance na makalaban ako ng malaking laban. Wala na talagang pag-asa sa boxing kasi puro na lang binta ang laban kasi walang pera, walang pagkain, kaya pampamilya. Ngayon, sir, na nandito ako sa inyo, binigyan niyo ako ng chance na makalaban ng big fight, may belt, yun. Salamat din sa inyo, sir, at nagbigay kayo ng tiwala sa akin.
Pero naniniwala ako mararating nyo yan, ha? Ingat na ka.
Sige po, salamat po. Kayo din po, sir. Sobrang saya ko po dahil
I'm very happy. I feel like I've been reborn. I was ready to quit.
wala akong masabi.
I've left my past behind. I don't want to say much more about my former gym. They are rich and powerful people. I'm scared because they could do something and take me out of boxing. I just want to shut up and box.
What are the forces that strike such fear? We dig deeper into the dark side of the sport. After much persuasion, a boxing official agrees to meet us in Manila, only if we protect his identity. He serves as a referee and a judge in professional fights. I've convinced him to blow the whistle on powerful managers who cripple the sport for personal gain, setting up mismatched boxers and rigged fights.
There's plenty of managers in the Philippines who was doing that. If there's corruption, number one, it starts in the commission, and then managers and boxers, and then the ring officials itself. All of us, we are involved.
He won't say how he's involved, except he's one of very few ring officials who refuse bribes. What type of bribes are offered?
Number one is money, and then sometimes lady.
Offer ladies.
Girls, yes. They're promising you will get another assignments or the bigger assignments with bigger person. In return, their boxers should go on fight. You will give scores in favor of the promoter's boxers, even though he's losing on points. He will win by decision.
So unless there's a clear knockout, basically,
yes,
you have no
yes.
chance. The man who heads boxing's governing body in the Philippines denies the accusations.
It's not rampant. It's not rampant. I don't think it's rampant. It's very difficult to predict mismatches. And you cannot just predict a mismatch just by looking at the record.
What about these rogue managers or promoters who actually do that? So is there any way to, any regulation that your organization can
As I said,
enforce?
we try to, the matches will have to be approved by us. It's quite difficult, but we're doing our best. Nothing is 100%.
The corruption destroyed Brian's career. Back in the gym, he's determined to make up for lost time.
Kasi pag nanalo ko sa laban na to,
If I win, it will raise my profile in the Philippines and among the promoters. They'll be shocked that a boxer who couldn't stop losing is now a champion.
But over the next few days, heavy rain continues to disrupt training. Coach Jeffrey Onyate has cancelled the run again this morning. He needs a plan B for Brian's final prep. They train indoors in this tiny living area. Jeffrey Onyate was a 5-time national featherweight champion and was Manny Pacquiao's roommate when they trained together in the 90s.
Manny trained really hard. He was amazing. I would run for an hour. He went on for much longer. His sparring partner was taller than him, but Manny was a real fighter.
Talking about his old friend reminds Coach of his deepest regret. While Manny Pacquiao went on to become one of the world's greatest boxers, Onyate, at the height of his career, missed a chance at glory when he threw his fight against a Japanese boxer he expected to beat. A win would have earned him a shot at a world title. He hoped for a second chance, but it never came.
I regret it a lot. I traded my title for money when I could have beaten Takashi Koshimoto. My life could have been different if only I did the right thing. Maybe I would have had a nice house and a good life now. I regret it.
1 minute.
Unable to turn back the clock, Coach pins his dreams on the boxers here.
I tell them I want you to be the next world champion. Carry my name with you and fulfill your dreams.
Brian puts in an extra shift today, even as the rest have some fun. It's one of the boxers' birthday. Jojo Tubiano turns 22. They can't afford a cake, but they love a bit of a celebration.
birthday wish.
My birthday wish is to build up the gym, the new gym, and I want to become a world champion.
Today, the youngest boxer among them is ready to step up training. Together with some of the older guys, 15-year-old Efren has signed up for a village fight to earn some petty cash. A few times a year, villagers in the region organize boxing matches for local fiestas. The winner gets $20 and the loser $10. It goes a long way for these boxers living from hand to mouth. Efren is the son of the coach who will be fighting too. Onyate knows his wife doesn't like their son boxing, but he sees potential and has high hopes.
I used to take him to the gym and he would watch me train, but I've never trained him until now. He has the potential to be like Manny Pacquiao. He already knows the moves without me telling him what to do.
The next day, hundreds of villagers are here for the highlight of the fiesta, the fights. The Lipa city boxers are fighting in 6 of the bouts. Much is at stake for young Efren. He's thinking of leaving school to train full-time, but his mother wants him to quit boxing if he loses today.
I'm really worried. I had to get used to my husband fighting, and now I have to worry about my son. I'd rather he quit boxing.
But first, it's Onyate's turn. As her husband enters the ring, Maribel is reminded of how success stories in boxing are rare.
I don't want my son to think like he's Pacquiao, and that boxing makes money. Boxing is dangerous. The income is unstable. Life is difficult.
Despite being the oldest boxer at 41 years old, Onyate makes light work of an opponent half his age and wins on points.
Maybe for a short while, we had a good life, but he had a bad manager who was only using him. I don't want my son to end up like that.
It's Efren's turn to fight. Efren in black shorts is up against a boxer 4 years older.
I'm so worried. I'm so worried.
He takes a few heavy hits and gets caught in the ropes. His lanky frame gives him a good reach, but he's on the back foot when he's saved by the bell.
Point by point, winner, Fred.
Let's fight.
I told him, just finish your studies. It's only 2 more years. And if you still want to box full-time, I will see if your mother allows. I'm scared of his mother's reaction if he really wants to box.
With 4 wins out of 6, the boxers go home $100 richer, in time for a treat before Brian flies off the next day. For the first time in weeks, they have chicken, much needed protein to go with rice and vegetable soup.
I'm nervous and excited at the same time because it's getting nearer and nearer to the day of the fight.
Three days before the big match, Brian flies into Cagayan de Oro. He can't afford the hotels near the fight venue, so he's staying with his family an hour's drive away.
Dito pala sa likod yung...
Brian shows us around his home. He's proud of the extension he built from his earnings as a boxer.
It's not finished yet. I don't earn that much for now. I just have to be patient and work harder.
Brian is hardly home, but the neighborhood kids know why he's back and are excited to see him. Uppercut.
This 2-1, 2-3.
Two little ones and three.
My brother.
Your brother's children.
Yes.
I see.
This one, child of my youngest sister.
Child of your younger sister, I see.
And me, no child.
You no child. When will you have any child?
If I have money.
After money from boxing.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I save enough money to make a family.
To make a family.
Yes. Pag nakikita ko yung mga bata tulad
Whenever I see the kids, I feel sorry for them. I remember my childhood days scavenging trash. That's why I think I'm lucky to be a boxer. It changed my life. It doesn't matter whether I become a great success. If any of the kids here really love boxing, I will help them to achieve their dreams.
But for now, Brian has only one thing on his mind: the Asian Championship. It's fight night. Brian's opponent, Paul Valerio, is the hot favorite with a superior fight record. But the underdog scores their first knockdown. Down but not out, his opponent recovers and rolls with the punches, hitting back harder than before. Brian tries to overcome his shorter reach, bobbing and weaving to find striking range. It's energy sapping. Brian has a cut lip and is on the ropes. But his corner man spots a weakness.
Balag, lamig kayo ng bali, tusok lang. Tuloy ba? Balag, isa-isa, basta tuloy. Sumpay ba? Para kay Kuya Jun ba? Ano ba? Para kay Kuya Jun ba? Balag, usa-usa, basta sumpay. Ayaw layo.
It seems to work. In the 7th round, Brian gets a second win. But it doesn't last. After 9 of the 12 scheduled rounds, he can't take the punishment anymore and throws in the towel.
I was dizzy and my whole body was in pain every time he hit me, usually in the head. My body couldn't do what my mind wanted. I stopped the fight because I didn't want it to be my last. I didn't want to end up a burden to my family.
TKO in the last period of the 9th round.
Brian flies home, bruised, battered, and dejected.
I was very disappointed and discouraged that I lost because it felt like I failed.
Back in Lipa City, he sleeps for 2 days. The guys have a break today and drag Brian out for basketball. He just wants to watch.
I felt weak and my body was in pain. I couldn't do anything. I didn't feel like socializing.
But being with friends, he's slowly mending.
I'm very comfortable here with them. Win or lose, Jun still welcomes me home. My previous managers called me a coward. I won't stop boxing even though it's hard and painful. If I quit because of pain, I'll never get anywhere in life. I'm used to pain. This is not the first time. I'll keep going.
Sa akin, walang problema, tuloy-tuloy pa rin.